My name is Sheetal Malhotra. I have been in the L&D space from last 15 years. Currently I'm working with Three Pillar Global. I'm working as a learning and development manager. It's a very, very global role, very dynamic, very meaty role, I would say. I'm really enjoying my time with Three Pillar Global. I joined Three Pillar Global last year. It's been 1 year and 4 months working with this organization. Prior to working with Three Pillar, I was working with NIIT Technologies. It is again one of the Indian IT company based out of Noida. There as well, I was working in the learning and development space, sorry. The role was about managing the overall learning and development portfolio of the entire organization. It was again a global role. A lot of my conversation used to around interacting with people from US and UK, because we had big offices in these two continents, and rest of the offices were small. We had a small office in Thailand, then we had one office in Middle East. Prior to joining NIIT, I worked with, for a long period of time, I worked with HCL Technology, started my career with HCL. I started my career with HCL in a very different kind of a domain. I was part of the BPO's division of HCL. After actually taking calls for 2 years, I moved into the, a coaching kind of a profile where I started coaching people. I started conducting some floor training sessions. Did that for quite a few number of years. I would say, to be very precise, I did that for 2 years. And then there was an internal job posting. That was my chance to go deep into learning and development, moved into the learning and development team of HCL BPO. Then I moved into HCL Infra. And finally, when I moved out of HCL, I was the part of corporate L&D team of HCL Technologies. So this is about my overall experience of working with the L&D space over a tenure of last 15 years. What I presented as my case study was a very, very real case study that we accomplished in very recently in Three Pillar Global. I would not say accomplished, we are still on that journey. So we realized when I became part of the organization, we realized that we were not doing much of upskilling for our current software engineers. So first what we did was we carved out upskilling programs, technical upskilling programs for all kinds of domain. We created a specific program for .NET. There was a specific program to transition QA manuals to QA automation, and so on and so forth, all the technologies. And it was taken in such a positive spirit across the organization, from leadership to software engineers to executives of the company. The program was extremely successful. It went on in 2019, and that's 2020 came in, and we had a huge realization. The realization was, you can do a great job with upskilling. Upskilling is a very, very powerful tool, but it is meaningless if you are not able to deploy people who you upskill on the new positions the company has. If the company again has to go to market to hire people when there is a need, then probably upskilling doesn't have much of a value. So on that, I thought that, who could be some of the people who can give me a good feedback about what is working well, what are some of the challenges, and what are the expectations from each of those departments from L&D, so that, we can plug those gaps and make our upskilling initiative more meaningful for the organization. So we created a working group. I brought a lot of teams together. There is a client engagement team. There is a client partner team. These two teams are absolutely stays in touch with the clients at the US because all our clients are US based. So we brought them together. Then there is a specific team in a couple of organizations. It is called workforce planning. We call them delivery operations here. Brought them together, understand from them. And then there was some internal talent groups we brought together. We brought together talent engagement partners, because they get a lot of feedback from people who get upskill, and what were their feeler about getting upskill. They get a lot of feedback from project managers about what is working well, what is not working well, what are they expecting. So brought all of these people together, took feedback from them. We got some amazing feedback for last year, and we got some great inputs in terms of what can be better. What can we do to make sure that upskilling is aligned with increased deployability and increased retention of people who are getting upskilled. So some of these feedback we immediately started working on. We created a post-training framework for people. We make sure that our existing upskilling programs are more role-based. Only creating a .NET program might not work. You have to look at what are the expectations from first level of engineers at the organization level. We call them software engineer 1. So .NET software engineer 1. What does the expectation of the organization from these kind of people? Software engineer 2, what is the expectation of organization from this group? What is the expectation of senior software engineers? So we understood all that, and we made sure that all our upskilling programs are transitioning into becoming more role-based. So we did that. We created post-training framework I told you about. Then there was another feedback about the way we were assessing people while they were on their upskilling journey. Everybody felt that the assessment could be better. So we created a whole new assessment framework, which was a 4-layer assessment framework: pre-assessment, mid-assessment, pre-final assessment, and the final assessment. The final assessment I would like to quickly talk about. Final assessment was very, very different. I've never done that in my 15 years of career with all these companies. So final assessment, we said that we will pick up somebody who takes interviews of talent when we hire talent from the market. That person has no view of what Sheetal did in the upskilling programs. That person does not know anything about the person who is getting upskilled. So that person will evaluate me if I'm getting upskilled, if I can probably take my example. So we thought that we'll get an absolutely fresh perspective from that person's end. So I'm just taking very, very high level, some of these inputs we got from people. We created the entire framework, and somewhere, at this point in time, we are still on the journey. In 3 Pillar Global, one of our core beliefs is continuous improvement. So my team, my department is still on that continuous improvement journey. We are still moving ahead, but I can proudly say that last year when we rolled out upskilling programs, we were at 20% deployability, and we are currently at 45% deployability after doing some bit of work that we got as inputs from this group. We have a lot to move forward. We have a lot to do when we go forward in the months to go in 2020. And we are really hoping that our deployability will go up to 60% by the end of 2020. So this is what my story is all about. This is what I presented. I had a very short conversation with Usha, and there was another panel. I'm forgetting the name of Sriharsha, absolutely. So it was a very short conversation, but very powerful. So this is about my story. Overall experience with HR success talks, I can say it can't get better. You are a bunch of very, very highly energetic, very professional, very professional employees. The way you guys were keeping us posted, the way you guys were sharing updates, I think you had that zeal and a very, very professional approach. I had a fantastic experience. I know it was a virtual event, and execution of the virtual event in one single day was very, very challenging. There was some bit of delay in my story presentation, but the best part was I was always informed. I was informed well in advance that, Sheetal, we are running a bit slow. So it will take your interview, your story presentation will happen half an hour with, it will be delayed by half an hour, which was again very, very good. I actually did not mind, having a delay in my story presentation, because the team was continuously keeping us posted. And I would really want to appreciate Shefali and Surbi. Surbi was extremely helpful. So both of these girls really kept me posted, and I think it was a fantastic experience. And I would like to again say, if I have one more minute, I would like to say the closing ceremony. Generally, I've attended a couple of closing ceremonies and a couple of award functions. You generally get inspired from people who win, because generally people talk about those stories, people who win the awards. But those two speakers which you brought in, and Archana, I've grown myself listening to news on DD1 and DD2, and seeing Archana on the screen was serene. I really loved it. And Asha ji was pretty inspirational. I think listening to her in that one-to-one setting, and I actually did not interact with her. I was pretty emotional listening to her story. but a couple of participants asked very meaningful questions, and I was really inspired listening to these two. And I was again very inspired with listening to what Manisha said. Manisha shared her personal life story. It was quite inspirational. And and again, I got so much of inspiration from three stories which were being spoken in the social work category. There was a lady who is working with cleaning Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and then there was another lady who spoke about they did some protest when this Nirbhaya case was going on. So it was pretty inspirational listening to such young people who are so focused about what they want to do in life and so passionate about what they do. So bringing passion and profession together was pretty inspirational.
All right, Sheetal, thanks for all your time today and appreciating us and all our efforts. It means a lot to us. Okay. So I think we'll wrap up the call right now since you have to also carry on with certain things. Okay. So have a great day ahead.
Thank you,
Take
Pragya.
care. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Take care.